Hi, my name is Robert Chelle with Chelle Law, and my law firm assists professionals with employment contract issues. One thing that comes up frequently, and a question I get is, if I terminate the contract early, will I be paid my bonus? Well, I wish I had a black and white question. It depends what the language is in the contract. So let's kind of walk through how a contract's terminated, and then what kind of language needs to be inserted to make certain that if someone earns a bonus, they're going to get it. So, three ways for a contract to end. One, if there's a fixed term and it's not renewed, say it's a 2-year contract and there's no automatic renewal, then it would just end at the end of the 2 years. Second one could be for cause termination. So if one party breaches the contract, the other party would have to, provide them with written notice. And then usually there'd be what's called a cure period where whoever is in breach contract would have some period of time, usually 2 weeks to a month, to fix whatever the breach is. And then if it is fixed, then, the other party could not terminate for cause. And then the other option would be without cause termination. So without cause termination simply means either party can terminate the agreement at any time with a certain amount of notice to the other party. Kind of depends what industry you're in, but there should be some kind of set amount that says, all right, you have to, give us this much notice in advance, and then you have to work out whatever it is. Let's say it's 60 days. You got to work out the 60 days. At the end of that, you're free to move on. Now, how does this play with bonus? So if a professional has some kind of bonus involving either net collections or some kind of commission or something like that, you need to determine how often is it paid. Is it paid monthly? Is it paid quarterly? Is it paid yearly? If it's paid yearly, that's obviously worse for the professional, because if they terminate the contract in the middle of the year, most places will not pay out a bonus. That you'll have to wait until the end of the year, and then they'll calculate whatever the bonus is given, and then they will give it out. So if you're thinking about how to structure an employment contract, you want to make certain that the language states that any bonus earned will be prorated if it's less or in the middle of the contract year. So even if you had the annual bonus, if it says if the professional terminates the agreement and they're in month 8, then whatever they've earned will be prorated to that. So 8/12 of whatever they would have earned, and then that will be paid out upon termination of the agreement. If the employer is unwilling to make any changes like that, then the professional has to think strategically about when to give notice. So if someone really wants to leave a job, just unhappy, but you have to, be employed at the time that the bonus is paid, then you need to make certain that you give notice after you've been paid the bonus, or you could just miss out on it. I have had a couple scenarios where there's usually language in a contract that states, the professional has to provide 60 days notice, but the employer has the option to basically tell them, we don't want you to work here anymore. They still have to pay for those 60 days, or whatever the base compensation generally would be. But it would say you won't be owed any bonuses. So even if, let's say it's the end of the year and so on, the bonus is supposed to be paid out 30 days after the end of the year. You give notice on day 1 of the next year. The employer could say, you know what? We appreciate you. We're not going to make you work 60 days. We're just going to say, accelerate the termination. We're still going to pay you for those 60 days. But just go home. The contract is ended. In that scenario, it's possible. Now, this is where kind of the arguments would occur, but they would say, well, you're not employed at the date that we gave out the bonus. And so therefore, we're just going to pay you the 60 days, but we're not going to pay you the bonus for the rest of the year. So once again, their language needs to be inserted in the contract that protects the professional from that type of scenario where even though they waited until the next year to give notice, until you get that check, that direct deposit, there are still some shenanigans that the employer can use to not pay the bonus. It's usually better to break up a bonus into months or quarters or something like that, just for that scenario, so that someone's not stuck. Say you're in month 2 of a contract year and you're like, I have to get out of here. But I still want to, be paid whatever bonus that I've earned. It would stink to have to wait for the entire year and then finally get paid the bonus. So breaking up the bonuses into shorter segments protects the employee in the scenario where they want to be paid the bonus that they've earned, but they also don't want to wait for an entire year. So can an employee be paid a bonus if they terminate early? It simply depends upon the language in the contract. And that's, when I'm reviewing a contract for somebody, that certainly is one thing we go over is, all right, what are the payment obligations of the employer upon termination of the agreement? Most of them will try to not have to pay any bonuses. They'll just say, we'll pay your base, and then after the contract ends, that's it. Now, if someone is on pure commission or net collections or whatever else in their industry that they're using, obviously the language needs to be tailored so that they're paid whatever amount they should, but they're not like totally screwed by not getting any of the bonuses. So anyway, hopefully that's helpful. If you have any questions, you can call us at the phone number listed below in the description, or you can reach us through our website, chellelaw.com. That's CHELLE law.com. Anyway, appreciate your watch video. Thanks.